Hello, I'm back with, I could not resist. I said, let me complete the last section of Act 5. It'd be good to do it in one go. Yeah, it is because it follows a sequence. So I'm back with the last section of Act 5. And you know where we stopped the last time when Ariel brings in, he's been summoned to bring in the bosun and the master. And if you see the lines, re-enter Ariel with the master and bosun. And this is Gonzalo who says, I'm just going to take you through the line. This is Gonzalo, be it so, amen. And then suddenly he sees the bosun. And if you remember the what happened in Act 1, Scene 1, when he says he has no drowning mark upon him, he will be hanged. So he goes in, keeping to that same line of thought. He said that, see, I was absolutely certain, I predicted that the bosun would never drown because he had the sign of the hanging mark on him. He had to be led to the gallows, yes? Now, blasphemy, that swear his grace overboard, not on oath, on shore, yes? Uh, so he said, then all the time when you were on the ship, you were cursing us, and you used such language which was so foul and so filthy. So how are you going to talk to us on the shore? Are you going to use the same language? Because this is not your area of expertise. What is the news? Yes. So what can you tell us? What is happening? And the bosun says, the best news is that we have safely found our king and company. See, he from this you can make out that it is so very, he is very devoted to the work that he does. So see, the master does not say anything. It's the bosun who says, for us, who is the most important? Are the people on board, right? So he says the the finest piece of news that I've received is that we have found the king and his men who were our responsibility. Yes, and also the best news is our ship, which was 3 glasses since. Again, this is the fourth hour. We gave our sprit is tight and near and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea. So there is no harm that has come to our ship, and it is 3 hours since it split. It's seaworthy. It is ready to set sail, not a stitch out of place. Yes. So, and then Ariel says that aside to Prospero, sir, all this service have I done since I went. I've done all this as you ordered, like a little child, pleasing his father. Yes. And then Prospero, my tricksy spirit, you are a clever spirit. You are so lovable. This kind of beautiful relationship that is established here is very clear. Then Alonso says, these are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither? See, this cannot be natural. We saw this ship splitting, and it's fine that we came onto the island. Now, even you are safe, and the ship is safe. It cannot be a natural event that has taken place. Each minute, things become more and more unpredictable and not normal, not natural. It is of a different level of creation, yes. And then the bosun says, if I did think, sir, I were well awake, I will strive to tell you. Yes. If I did think, sir, I were well awake, I will strive to tell you. We were dead of sleep, and how we know not, all clapped under hatches, where but even now with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible we were awakened. So it's like he says that if I were awake, I would be able to tell you everything as it happened. But we were fast asleep, we were in deep slumber. We don't know how the sleep came upon because we were busy trying to save the ship, right? But we found that we were safely under the deck. We were in our cabins, fast asleep, and suddenly we heard this roaring, shrieking, shouting, howling, jingling, the same sound that accompanies Ariel when he wants to wake somebody up. He did the same when he wanted to wake Gonzalo and Alonso up, and Stefano and not Stefano, sorry, when Sebastian and Antonio were trying to kill Alonso, remember? So whenever Ariel wants to bring in that awake, then there is the shrieking, howling, and all those loud noises of jingling chains. He said, and the sounds were so horrible that we woke up, we woke up from our sleep, and as we woke up, we found that we found that we were free. There was freedom, and we were alive, and the ship was safe and sound. Yes, freshly beheld our royal, good and gallant ship, our ship, the royal ship that it was as good as the day we set sail, our master capering to eye her on a trice, so pleased we when in a dream we were divided from them and were brought moping hither. So you see, it was as if the master jumped with joy, gleefully. We were happy to see the ship all intact, and and then within a twinkling of an eye, we were away from the ship, and we were right here in a dream-like state. We are right here in front of you to see that all of you, another fantasy, to see that all of you are now alive. So this entire speech of Bosun is again to tell you how the magic of Prospero works, right? It's an example of it. And Ariel, again, like a little child, was it well done? Do you think I did it well? A little child goes and asks when the father or mother has told him to do something, and he says, have I done it well? Waiting for praise. And Prospero, bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free. You've done it better than anybody else could ever do, perfectly. So you shall get your freedom. And that is what Ariel. So you have your freedom. And what does Alonso say? This is as strange as maze that ever men trod. There is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge. It's a gist of all the supernaturalism in the place. So Alonso said, this is, I don't think any man has ever seen a stranger business than what we have experienced today in these 4 hours. What we have experienced, no man ever has seen anything stranger than this. Yes, more supernatural than this, more, I won't say abnormal, but supernormal, yes, unbelievable, unprecedented, yes, of a strangeness to the utmost, yes. So we need some oracle. The oracles who always used to predict what is going to happen, and oracles were never wrong. That at Delphi, when you had the oracles, Greek and Roman myths. So he said, we need some oracle to tell us what's going on, because this is beyond human understanding. We need the gods to explain to us. Then Prospero says, Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this myth. Do not be perturbed. Do not waste your time thinking over how these things have panned out, how these strange events have happened, yes? At pick leisure, which shall be shortly single, I'll resolve you, which to you shall seem probable, of every these happened accidents. So I will, at a good time, when we are together, I promise you, I will explain every little detail to you of what has happened. And alone, only to you. This is not something he's going to share with everybody around. It's alone to you, I will tell you how everything took place. And he says, till when, be cheerful and think of each thing well. Till then, be happy. Be happy that everything good has come out of it. Everything that you dreaded is past, is in the past. Yes, everything good has come out of it. And then keep an open mind, because what is going to be revealed is all good. And then aside to Ariel, come hither, spirit, set Caliban and his companions free, untie the spell. So the next act of kindness, and next probably again of forgiveness, set them free. Let Caliban have his island, yes. So break the spell. They are enslaved, right? Remember, near the mouth of the cottage, when they were pulling all those glittering clothes down, set them free as well. So Ariel exits. How fares, my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remembered not. Yes, so Ariel goes to Caliban and Stefano, yes, and then of course Prospero is addressing how, he says, how fares my gracious sir. So probably he's addressing the others in the scene looking at Master, a bosun whom he's never met. And he says, and also to Alonso and the other courtiers, and he says that there are still a few missing from the boat, yes, and I don't think you remember about them. They are lesser in the order of hierarchy, but they are still there. And so Ariel comes back with Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo, and are wearing all their stolen apparel, remember? Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio. You know, it is a Dutch courage again brought about by lot of drinking, yes? So he says, like, look out for the other guy, let us go into a duel, don't put yourself first, save yourself, we need courage. He's telling Caliban, we need courage, you're an old monster, but we'll work with courage. And Trinculo, if these be true spies which I wear in my head, here is a goodly sight. And he said, I can't believe my eyes. He said, if my eyes are seeing the truth, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Caliban, O setter was, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is, I'm afraid he will chastise me. So what is the tone? How is the tone of Caliban changed? He looks at everybody. He looks at Alonso, the courtiers, and even Prospero, dressed as the Duke of Milan. And he's talking about, he's swearing in the name of the god whom his mother worshipped. And he said, O Setibos, these are such brave, handsome spirits, yes. And he says, oh my, Prospero looks so magnificent. Because he is no longer looking at the gown as a magician. He looks like the Duke of Milan. And then, of course, the thought, but he is after all Prospero. He is definitely going to reprimand and punish me, chastise me. And then Sebastian sees Antonio, and then will money buy them? And, he's just... and he looks at everybody around and says, what are we looking at? Looking at Caliban, looking at Antonio, can we buy such a monster? Again, they're thinking of how saleable, marketable Caliban like a monster would be back at home. Very like one of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable. So you see, they haven't lost their sense of crudity that is there. So their characters do not change much, yes. And then Prospero, mark what the badges of these men, my lords, then say if they be true. Yes, now take a look at Stefano and Trinculo. Yes, and then he points at Caliban and tell me who is he? What do you think they are? What do you gauge they need to be? This misshapen knave. His mother was a witch and one so strong that could control the moon, make frozen ebbs, and deal in a command without a power. These three have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he is the bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. So he says that, see, these are the three, and this tells him about the past of, tells Alonso about the past of Caliban and how he came upon the island, about Sycorax, his mother, and he said that these three plotted against me. They really thought they robbed me, and they really thought they would kill me. Two of these fellows you must know and own, that is Stefano and Trinculo are yours. This thing of darkness is mine. Thing of darkness he's evil, he's vile. So he's from the island. I shall be pinched today. It's not that Stefano, my drunken butler, he's drunk now. Where had he wine? Yes. And Trinculo is reeling right. Where should they find this grand liquor that had gilded them? How came he now in this pickle? How in this state of being so drunk? I've been in such a pickle since I saw you last. That the barrel of wine that they carried there. It's not too important. You how now Stefano, oh touch me not, I'm not Stefano but a cramp. So this pain all over. So you want to be the king of the island, Sida, servant? You wanted to, you dreamt of becoming the king. Yes, all cramped all over, painful. Yes. And then Stefano says, yes, I would have been a sword. I would have been a king with a lot of wounds, yes. This is a strange thing here I looked on. Alonso keeps perhaps nodding in head and saying that strangest events have happened. No other event in my lifetime has been as strange as what has happened, what has conspired this day. And then Prospero says, he's as disproportionate in his manners as in his shape. He's still talking about Caliban. So both in appearance as well as in behavior, he's not virtuous. He's disproportioned. That means he's evil, he's vile. Go, Sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions as you look to have my pardon. So he pardons Caliban. Take what you have. This cell is yours. This island is yours. And he says that if you want me to forgive you, arrange the cell, keep it neat, and then it is all yours. Aye, that I will, and I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. And now I will do. I will do as you have asked me of. And after this, I will be good, and I hope that you will forgive me. I will not conspire against you anymore. He said, I think, was I to take this? What a thrice double ass was I. I was 3 times the fool to have thought that this man, Stefano, this drunkard, would and this Trinculo would be able to overpower somebody as wonderful and as gracious as Prospero. So they leave. So that part, forgiveness also for Caliban. And you know that when he leaves the island will belong to Caliban, as he had always wanted Caliban, remember. So Caliban gets his island, Ariel gets his freedom. Both are happy. We are moving towards a happy ending to the play. Hence and bestow your luggage where you found it. Yes, yes. So wherever you've taken all these things for, keep it safely inside. Of course, stealing. Then, of course, Prospero says, Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell. Come and rest here, where you shall take your rest for this one night, and the ship will be ready to sail the next morning. Part of it I'll waste with such a discourse as I no doubt shall make it quick away. So I will, part of the night, of course, I'll be sharing with you the story of what you wanted to know of how I came upon this island the past 12 years and all the details about what happened to me. Yes, and also all the accidents that have taken place, all the events that have happened when I stepped onto the island. And in the morning, what will they do? They will go, I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I hope to see the nuptial of these dear beloved solemnized. And then we will move to Naples, sail to Naples, where we hope to see the marriage of Ferdinand and Miranda. And after that, he says, I'll retire to Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave. Why third thought? First thought, daughter. Second thought, his books and library. And third thought, his death. Right? Ferdinand Miranda's marriage, his books, and then death. Every third thought shall be, think about death. So marriage, retire to Milan, sit with his books, and then death. Right? And Alonso, I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the year strangely. I mean, it will be a strange story. It will indeed be a very strange tale. And Prospero says, I'll deliver all and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. And I promise you, I'll tell you everything. And I also promise that you're going to get very calm sea. You're going to get wind that is favorable, that will help the sea to move forward on your trip. You will sail so fast that you'll catch up with the Royal Navy that is already on the way to Naples, yes. And then he looks at Ariel and he says, my Ariel chief, that is thy charge, then to the elements, be free and fare thou well, please you draw near. And then he tells Ariel, you will be free as the air around you, yes. So, and the rest of you come closer, rest in this cave while I tell the story to Alonso and freedom to Ariel. We have the epilogue left, which I shall take up along with the questions as an analysis, which concludes Act 5. Okay, that's it for now.